In this video, we're going to look at several developing nations from around the world. We'll begin first by looking at some textiles in Peru. From there, we'll look at a shepherd's life in Argentina. After that, we'll move on to the Caribbean, first to Saint Lucia to see how we grow bananas, and then to the Dominican Republic to see how we grow sugarcane. We'll finish in China at a tea village.
Memoria.
¿Tiene qué?
Los diseños ya están en la memoria.
Oh, okay. So you
Los
have to do it by
hemos-
memory.
Sí.
Oh.
Se van
Wow.
aprendiendo de generación en generación,
Oh.
¿no?
So
Y
they
desde
keep
muy
on-
pequeñas. Aquí. Es importante porque nos sirve para poder ajustar el tejido y también separar los hilos, ¿no?
So it can separate the fibers, but it won't.
Yeah. Comprendo.
¿Alguna duda? ¿Una pregunta?
Oh, do we have any questions?
This is so cool.
Muy bonita.
¿Cuántos días tiene para
¿Así?
páginar?
Un telar así, entre 25, 15 o 30 días,
Wow.
30 días.
Sí.
Wow.
Wow.
¿no? Dependiendo del largo.
Sí.
Sí,
Yeah.
sí.
According to Jorge, they left this area 600 years ago, but no one knows why. Cuadros de cultivos, so we believe this is maybe where they were cultivating, where they, on the highlands, they had their farms. Down below, we see some interesting little houses here. We're not sure what those are. See that? That's their oven right here.
Classic. If not backs up even more, you can see the whole line of it because there's a whole. It's a whole like.
Yeah, back up, Mom.
If only videos could smell.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to back up. so
There's
far that I
okay.
can't get
There.
out.
Now we're good. There's
No.
a lot of
Oh
animals
my
in
gosh,
there.
the lamb!
Grown with their blue bag.
Keep out the insects.
Now remember the blue bags, you can reuse them. It all depends on how well you handle your equipment not to cut them up. Now with the bananas itself, the bananas here are like humans. They take 9 months to bear and they bear only once. So every plant just bear one time.
Oh.
When the plant bears one time, it has to be cut down and it will act as fertilizer for the rest of them. Now, if you look near every mother plant, there is a younger plant. Every one big plant, next to them you see some smaller ones. The smaller ones are called the suckers. Now the bananas, they're very flimsy. They are made up, the plant itself is made up of at least 80% water and starch. That is why when the bananas are in full bloom, the farmer has to attach a rope to it to give it extra support because the slightest breeze can toss it over. Now when the bananas are young, they are stored in a purple pod. The purple pod is basically the womb. So as the banana grows, the pod pills upward. That is why you find the banana hanging upside down. Now when they're done opening, they will look as small as this. At the end of each young grain of banana, there is normally some white flowers. The white flowers contain nectar. Therefore, the farmer has to pass around, pluck out the flowers by hand. That process is called deflowering. When he's done deflowering, that's hard work, eh? When he's done deflowering, you would place the blue bags over it. Now, if you look near at the end of every bag, there is a ribbon. That here is a ribbon where the farmer follows a calendar. So after deflowering, you would place the ribbon here.
Hola.
We have a ranch here.
No, gracias.
We have a ranch and we have...
So,
I just got that.
bueno. So I'm. This is a piece of sugar cane. I just pulled it off the ground. I didn't want to steal anybody's crops, but sugar cane actually. It's actually quite interesting because sugarcane back 500 BC was probably only grown in Polynesia, Indonesia, something like that. Eventually made its way about 400 BC to India. And of course, from there, it's made it all the way across the world. Here I am in Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic. And of course, it was Columbus on voyage number 2 who brought sugarcane to the New World in 1493. And what we have here is, and what happened with that was, of course, it also brought slavery to the New World, because instead of small farms selling sugarcane, we now had big haciendas, big ranches making it, and they needed slavery. So that whole led molasses to rum to slaves, that whole bit here, because sugarcane was turned into molasses. I'm in a little village called Longjin Tea Village in the mountains above West Lake in Hangzhou, China. And what they have here, this is the green tea capital of China, which makes it the green tea capital of the world. What you have behind me, of course, are tea bushes that make the Longjin green tea, which is considered, at least in these parts, to be among the best in the world. Now, there's green tea and there's black tea. I personally am not a green tea fan. I'm more of a black tea person, and I'm actually more of a black coffee than black tea. But, you know, an old saying, for all the tea in China, you know, China has, of course, been the capital of tea for centuries. So, here's the worker in the tea fields. Looks like he's spraying around the bushes, so I would guess that's a pesticide, keeping everything clear on the path.